Okay, so I'm back in my basement, and today we're going to be painting a Necron Lord with a Resurrection Orb. I've assembled him, I've put his staff kind of thing in a new position, and I don't play Necrons right now, but when they come out with a new update, I'm going to play them. I just love this guy so much. He looks so cool. I decided to get him, so I'm going to be painting him to look like that. This is the one on the Games Workshop site. So what I can figure out from this is, so I don't have a lot of paint, so I'm going to be mixing to make the colors, kind of. So these are all the colors I can possibly think I could use like the most. So I'll just start at the back. So I got Bolt Gun Metal, Codex Gray, Shining Gold, that's Catch Can Green, Chaos Black, Skull White, Goblin Green, Devlin Mud Wash, and a Ball Red Wash, Mechrite Red, and Blood Red. So that's all I can really think of right now as far as paints, and I won't be doing his, I'll do his base at some point, just, I don't know, right now. So that's the paints I can think of. I'll let you know if there's any other paints I use or how I mix them and stuff. And so, I'm going to start by basing him black. Okay, so I finished basing him completely by hand again, because it's way easier, and I haven't glued him down to his base because I'm still going to base it and add a couple things to it. So yeah. And so over here, I just mix up a little bit of Goblin Green and a little bit of Chaos Black to make that kind of color, because I don't have a lot of paints. So I'm going to be using that on, I'm actually going to start with his thingy at the bottom of his staff kind of thing, sword, or scythe, whatever it is, and on his, and then I'm going to darken it a little bit more and put it on his ball. And then I'm going to use, to do a highlight, I'm going to take some Goblin Green and do just around the edges of that section, so that the inside's still that color. And then on his ball, I'm going to do like the twists like you see there. Yeah, and I'll do his base later. Okay, so I've done his Resurrection Orb. Like that. And at the bottom of his staff. It's a little bit brighter, but there's still the highlight. It's kind of hard to see. Or you can see a little bit like that. And that goes all the way around the staff. But, so that's pretty much all the green that's on him. So now I'm going to use, so I'm going to base him completely, with Codex, I'm going to dry brush Codex, or do a heavy dry brush of Codex Gray, in like the spots going along the sides where the highlight isn't, over there, like on his sides kind of, so I'm just gonna, or no, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do the staff. I want to finish up the staff because that looks so cool. So I'm gonna be using Shining Gold, and a little bit of I don't know, some kind of a color, probably just something to lighten it up a little bit, so maybe like a bleach bone. Okay, so I've done his grip kind of thing, and then I noticed there's like a small emblem in the middle of his chest, so I just did that really quick, and I'm going to tidy it up. But yeah, so I'm going to do the Bolt Gun Metal now, and I figured out a way to do a highlight, and I'll explain that later. But yeah, so I'm just going to dry brush pretty much his entire body with a heavy dry brush of Bolt Gun Metal to get that color of that, and then I'll show you the highlight I came up with. Okay, so I finished dry brushing his body. So I'm going to do the highlight later, once I've done his cape. So I'm going to start doing his cape with a very, very dark red. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some necron red and mix it with some black. Okay, so I finished doing his, or not finished, but done his cape. So I started off with some necron red, and it was that color on the side, and I gradually added like half of this paintbrush full, so like that's my finger for comparison, like just like half that paintbrush full of blood red to it every time, and just kept painting, leaving a little bit behind. So that was the depth kind of thing I got. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some ball red, and I'm just going to water it down a little bit, take a little bit and just do the top of the cape so it darkens it a little bit. And then I'm going to do the full cape pretty much, except for like the very edges and the bottom, like especially that part that sticks out. I want that nice and bright. Just do that in ball red, and then I'm going to take some Devlin mud, and I'm just going to do the very top of his cape, just so it becomes darker. And then I'll tidy up his staff there, and then his arm, a couple spots, and then his body down there. So yeah. Okay, so there's the cape. I've just given it some Devlin. I gave it the ball red. Let that dry. Gave it the Devlin mud, and I'm just waiting on that. I pretty much coated his entire body in it, except for some parts on there. Just really the really deep parts, like in there, and then across there, across the staff, across the tops of it, just to give it a bit more depth. And so that's how I'm doing the highlight. Because what I'm doing is I've got that, and I've done the Devlin mud, and you can start to see there's actually a highlight starting to come out. So we're just going to enhance that highlight afterwards. Oh yeah, I did his head as well. There we go. His hands, yeah, his entire body. So yeah. Okay, so I'm done. So you can see the highlighting I did. And then I put in this piece, the Gauss generator, patched up a bunch of stuff, and so that's what his cape looks like. And